Most of us know Pythagoras as a name stamped onto a middle school geometry test. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. But the real figure behind that math was a charismatic cult leader who remembered past lives and supposedly bit a poisonous snake to death. This marble bust is the closest thing we have to his likeness. The real Pythagoras is buried under thousands of years of rumors and hagiography. Part of the problem is that he never actually wrote anything down. Every detail we have was recorded decades or centuries later by other writers, who freely blended historical facts with supernatural legends. The image of him as the rational founding father of mathematics is a modern invention. To understand his true impact, we have to look at the secretive religious sect he built. Our subject was born around 570 BC on the Greek island of Samos. At the time, Samos was a thriving cultural hub in the Aegean Sea, packed with Near Eastern traders and early philosophers trying to explain the physical world. According to later accounts, he spent his early adulthood traveling, absorbing religious and mathematical traditions from Egyptian priests and Persian magi. Around 530 BC, he left Samos to escape a local tyrant and sailed west, eventually arriving in the Greek colony of Croton, located on the coast of modern-day Italy. For a charismatic philosopher carrying a head full of foreign ideas, Croton was a blank slate. He quickly embedded himself as an advisor to the local elites and began gathering a fiercely loyal group of followers. The organization he founded in Croton is often called a school, but it operated much more like a monastery. Initiates had to swear strict oaths of secrecy just to get in. Inside, the group was split into two tiers. There were the acousmatikoi, or listeners, who followed the mystical and religious teachings, and the mathematikoi, or learners, who focused on a more intellectual study of nature and numbers. Members committed to an extreme ascetic lifestyle. They pooled all their physical possessions into a communal trust, practiced 5-year vows of absolute silence, and adhered to a rigorous daily regimen of therapeutic dancing and physical exercise. They also followed a highly specific set of behavioral laws. A Pythagorean was required to always put their right sandal on before their left, and most famously, they were absolutely forbidden from eating or even touching fava beans. These extreme restrictions and intense communal bonds forged a deeply devoted group. Within a few years, this unified brotherhood managed to acquire immense political leverage over Croton and the surrounding colonies. Babylonian and Indian mathematicians used this geometric proof centuries before Pythagoras. His core doctrine was metempsychosis, the soul's reincarnation into new bodies. He also proposed the harmony of the spheres, teaching that planets move according to mathematical equations, producing an inaudible symphony. But the cult's political leverage eventually provoked a violent backlash. Around 510 BC, rival factions in Croton, threatened by the group's anti-democrat power, attacked the Pythagoreans and set their meeting houses on fire. Accounts of Pythagoras' own death are entirely contradictory. Some historians claim he escaped only to start himself in a nearby temple, while others report he was caught and murdered because he refused to flee through a field of fava beans. The physical brotherhood was scattered and reduced to ash. But their central unifying obsession, the idea that the universe is governed by mathematical logic, survived the flames. Centuries later, Pythagoreanism resurfaced as a secretive underground religion within the Roman Empire. Followers worshipped in subterranean spaces, like the rock-hewn tunnels of the Porta Maggiore Basilica in Rome. Their beliefs leaked directly into mainstream culture, heavily influencing Roman architecture. The Emperor Hadrian's Pantheon, for example, was built using specific Pythagorean numerical divisions to symbolize their exact views on the order of the universe. The cultural footprint lasted well into the Middle Ages. Because the original sect largely avoided eating meat due to their beliefs in reincarnation, anyone who abstained from meat was referred to in English as a Pythagorean, right up until the word vegetarian was coined in the 1840s. These surviving threads show how the eccentric rules of an ancient Italian commune managed to embed themselves deeply into Western art, philosophy, and daily morality. His most profound impact happened during the Renaissance, when early astronomers began searching the sky for the exact kind of mathematical order the cult had preached. When Johannes Kepler set out to map the solar system, he explicitly relied on Pythagoras' concept of the harmony of the spheres. By searching for those musical, mathematical ratios, Kepler successfully discovered the actual laws of planetary motion. We remember a mystic as a mathematician, but that specific historical misunderstanding is what gave later scientists the permission to treat nature as a puzzle that could be solved with numbers. Pythagoras almost certainly didn't invent the theorem you learned in geometry class. Instead, he popularized the enduring conviction that the chaotic cosmos is built on a foundation of perfect mathematical logic.